think you're right in your wrongs. You see the signs, 'cause before too long you're gone. When you love someone, you can stretch your legs like you're running free. When you love someone, you can show the world what it really ought to be. Outside your walls is the place where you can be what's in your head. It sounds great when you're talking to yourself. Open up and share with someone else. When you love someone, you can stretch your legs like you're running free. When you love someone, you can show the world what it really ought to be. When you love someone, you can spread it around, you can start with me. When you love someone, you can find a new way, find a new energy. When you love someone, you can stretch your legs like you're running free. When you love someone, you can show the world what it really ought to be. When you love someone, you can spread it around, you can start with me. When you love someone, you can find a new way, find a new energy. When you love someone, you can stretch your legs like you're running free. When you love someone, you can show the world what it really ought to be. When you love, you can spread it around, you can start with me. When you love, you can find a new way,
Hello, hello. We are back for week 2 on Feedback Fridays. This has, last week was amazing, and I'm excited for this week. We already have our first 5 submissions, and I clarified a few things in terms of, how this is going to work. And this is all pretty fluid because I'm figuring out, how it all best works. But what's going to happen at the beginning of each week, I will post an email address when the countdown starts. You have from when the countdown starts to when I go live like this to get your entries in. I'm not going to take early submissions because otherwise I'd be trying to field things all week and that would get a little messy. And then I'm going to take the top 5. If you had, and this will be more important as we move on in the journey of Feedback Fridays, but if you've gotten reviewed before on Feedback Fridays, don't submit a link. Let new people come in and get feedback, because we don't want any one person to monopolize the chances of a lot of different people getting feedback. I want to provide feedback to as many people as possible. Also, yes, it must be 40 seconds long. And, you don't have to time it exactly 40 seconds or whatever, but, roughly 40 seconds long. And yes, it must be a video, and it must be submitted in that window. The reason I want to do video is because I feel like I can offer better feedback when it is audio and video. I can actually see you. Okay. I'm going to pull these up. Thank you so much for joining me. And this is great. Let's see here. Okay. We have Cellar Studio Productions for our first submission. He says, greetings from Germany.
So won't you let it rest in peace, let it be just a fading memory in your head, 'cause I am waving a white flag. So I'm breaking up my heart in two, getting rid of every part of you. We are standing in a burning field of clover. I'm breaking up my heart in two, let it wither into deja vu. I'll be hiding in the storm until it's over without you.
Very good. I'm going to go back here a little bit.
Without you. Without you. It's over without you.
Okay. So, I think you did a fantastic job of navigating between your resonances, adding that little bit of grit in your chest resonance, and your tone is very nice. It fits between your head and your chest resonances. Here's the thing that I would say, and you can see it in the image that I have on the screen here. You are harboring quite a bit of face tension when you do your upper chest. And this is what this is doing is it is creating neck tension. It is creating positioning that is actually limiting your ability to sing freely in your upper chest, which means that you're probably breaking into your head voice when you don't want to be. If I'm reaching for a note, la 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 la, versus la 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 over. If I'm doing that stuff, and I am not getting my face involved because I have to, I'm setting a trend for my body that is going to help you hit notes because you're loose. We often think we need to get our body involved to push up to those higher chest notes. We don't need to. In fact, it works against us. So focus on relaxing your face, focus on feeling the resonance in your face, particularly in your chest voice. And you can see in your submission, when you go into your head voice, you start being a little bit more relaxed again. It's only those upper chest notes that you really start to get tense in your face. You can be intense as a singer without being tense. And I've talked a lot about that on the channel as well. So keep that in mind. Very, very good. All right. Next. Let's see if this works. This one is from Nayshaw. It may not work. It's not a YouTube submission, but we'll give it a try here. Oh, there we go.
You tell me you were happier with him, but you want me to stay. And you tell me that you needed time, but you pushed me away, yeah. And then you try to take me back. My heavy heart just breaks. No, I can't live the way. But you in the past. Try to forget you 'cause it's over. every time you ask, I pretend I'm okay. Yeah. You're inside my head. In the middle of the night when I don't feel out a dream, I can hold you, but I can't go back to you anymore.
Awesome. Very, very untense, relaxed approach. And her pitch was good. Here's what I would say to you in terms of branching out. What you did, and in terms of inside what you did, was really, really good. Solid, relaxed, no facial tension, good delivery. What you sang sounded maybe a bit low for you. I'd encourage you to raise up the pitch a little bit and experiment with using more of your comfortable range. Put more energy into, for me, if I sing those melodies in my lower area of my range, la 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 la, I end up sort of bottoming out, and I don't have the ability to really approach dynamically what I want to do if I'm sticking in that one area of range. La 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 la. But if I go just a little bit up in my range, as I go up in my notes, I can increase in intensity, not necessarily with and add tension or introduce problems, but I can emote a little bit better. La 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 la, oh, la la la. Where if I'm down in the bottom of my range, la 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 la, there's some that I can do dynamically, but that's what I would say to you. Experiment with being dynamic. Maintain that wonderful loose posture and approach that you have, and give us some more juice. Lay back a little bit. Really emote in the melody you're singing. And that's going to take your voice, the already solid foundation you have, to the next level. All right. Next. Great submissions, as is becoming usual. Hey, and I'd like to give you guys a chance too. I posted this at the end before, but if you want to take your voice further, you'd like to work with me on a deeper level, click this link and head to that link, and you can request an invite for my 12-week course, Discover Your Voice. What I'm able to do there that I can't do on stuff like Feedback Fridays or YouTube in general is foster a system, a step-by-step system that helps you break down your voice, really learn how to learn about your voice, and rebuild it. This is for people who are beginners. This is for people who are intermediate and advanced. Everybody can use a fresh look at how to feel and introspect with their voice. It also is an interactive course. It lets you interact with me directly, and it's not a wild card thing like Feedback Fridays. So make sure you follow that link, and it doesn't hurt to request an invite. You can get more information about the program. Okay, next. Okay, here is Lincoln Alves. He says he's from Brazil. He's been studying singing for about a year. Had battling shyness a little bit. Trying to avoid tension. Cool. English is not the native tongue, which is totally fine. And thank you for the material. You're so welcome. This is so much fun. Here we go. This is the time-stamped link.
My girl, my
Oh, I love this song.
Where will you go?
I covered this song a long time ago.
Going when the cold wind blows.
Blow.
And the pines, where the sun don't ever shine. I'll shiver the whole night through. My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me when did you sleep last night?
Yeah.
In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine. I'll shiver the whole night through. My girl, where will you go? I'm going when the cold wind blows. In the pines, the sun will shine. I shiver the whole night through.
Very good. Okay, some really good things going on here, especially when we'll start with the lower singing first. He's got a very nice, bright and forward placement. He's not swallowing his notes. No, it's he's got his face out of the way. In the pines, in the pines, in the pines, where the sun don't ever shine. Then when he goes high, he's got this nice sort of twang, which sounds really good. It's very Kurt Cobainish in the style of that sort of lazy grit he's doing. Really, really good. He's also got this sense of where he's putting the pressure and the compression into the note, and then you can hear him getting off the note with a bit of a crack. It's almost I call it like a Cranberries style crack. Zombie, which is kind of hard to do. But what this is doing is it's showing that he's got a good control over his compression, over his use of airflow, and you can see in his face and in his overall body language, pretty loose. Now, here's the bit of constructive feedback I would give you. You did a wonderful job of approaching notes, hitting the notes, staying on pitch, moderating your airflow. I would love to hear you experiment more with what holding out notes would look like for you, especially up in your higher register. The pines in the pines where the sun don't ever shine. Where'd you sleep last night? Connect those phrases a little bit more. It's tricky because when you're trying to place notes and sing a whole melody, you tend to want to breathe to have the most support possible. But see what happens when you plan your breaths so that you don't have to take as many of them, and you can create longer phrases. That will accentuate the tone that you already have built up really, really well. Because you'll be able to have your listeners latch on to certain notes, and those notes can evolve a bit more. Great, great job. Okay. Here is our next submission from Gilroy.
Looking back on 1,000 word unspoken, still inside my head, rocking back and forth in denial. Oh, just a second, I need to tell you something I lost what I was saying, and now today is vacant. If only I could have a second chance, I wish that I would be able to speak my mind this time. No matter what they say, the only chance I get.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right here, and I'm gonna come back. This great tone, great job singing and playing together, good groove, but we're having the same. I'm gonna say the same thing here that I said in our first submission, and watch the face. This is something we can all learn from, including me.
Chance I get is a chance to make the only chance I get is a chance.
You can hear it in the notes. It's this propensity to reach for a note with your face. This may not seem like a big deal, but it is, and it's interesting because you watch professional singers, and there's a showmanship aspect of going high and doing something with your face. But there's a big difference between doing something with your face because you're reaching for a note versus being a showman or being an entertainer. And only you can really evaluate that honestly within your own singing. And it may be that this is showmanship, but if that were me, if I was doing that, I would be introducing tension. Love, what are the words there? Let's see. Rewind it a little here.
Chance I get is a chance to make the same mistake twice. The only chance I
always got to go back.
no matter what they say.
No. Try approaching this with, instead of no matter what I say, where you get your face involved and you tense it, even for those short moments. No, go the other direction. No matter what I say, no matter what I say, no matter what I say. Go high, focus on going high, focus on being relaxed at the same time. If you can hit it relaxed, yeah, no matter what I say, then get your face in for, no matter what I say. That's not a reach for a note. That's not a facial engagement because I have to. It's because I'm engaging emotionally. And again, this is something that every singer has to evaluate for themselves, not something that I can say, well, you're tense. You might be tense. Other than that, and you can see it here.
What I was saying, and now today is vacant. If only I could have a second chance.
If only I could. Great breath moderation. He's able to hold out phrases really, really well. Really good. That changed a little bit towards the end when he was getting more into it, but I think having a mind on tension is going to help with that. Vowel formation is good. And like I said, the rhythm and groove, when he's playing along, there's a oneness to his performance. Very, very good. Okay. And let's see here. This is from Adam. Things I want feedback on. Wants to know how airflow sounds. Been singing for about 4 years. Likes Chris Cornell, Miles Kennedy, and Lane Staley. Cool, cool. Okay, and then he had another clip. He was having trouble editing them together. So I'm going to go, and that was a 23-second clip, and then here is another one. First of all, great job on the production, right? I mean, the doubling, the harmonies, layering those things in there. I don't know if it sounded like they were all the same voice. You look relaxed. What I heard from those brief snippets was that you had a good understanding of when it was good to be right on with the rest of the production, with the rest of the vocals, and when you could be a little bit loose to give it that gang vocal approach. Really, really cool. I'm going to go back to the feedback questions here. Airflow. Without seeing more of you, it's a little tough for me to gauge whether you're using your support correctly. Although, from the tone and from the look on your face, it didn't look like you were harboring too much tension. It looked like your airflow was doing pretty good. It also looked like that you struck a good balance of getting your face out of the way. You're not swallowing your notes. You've got forward placement in what you're doing. So that's all very good. Recently coming out of your comfort zone with a bit more power, if your goal is to reach higher notes like Chris Cornell, Miles Kennedy, and maintain the composure that you have and that you displayed in your video, that's a great goal, and I think you're well on your way to doing that. What I would say to you is make sure, number one, that you're not reaching for notes. Number two, get more in tune with the way your head voice works. Yeah. And gradually learn to be more comfortable switching in and out of your head voice. The first step to being able to go up into those higher aggressive notes is being able to seamlessly blend your head voice with your chest voice. And that's different than mixed voice. That mixed voice is another step beyond that. But if you listen to guys like, I just did a video on Connor Mason. If you listen to guys like Jeff Buckley, Jimmy Necco, and even Chris Cornell, they have this ability to, la 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 la. You see what I'm doing? I'm going in and out of my head voice, and I'm getting used to how those higher notes feel, but I'm doing so without the expectation that I have to belt them. And that is what's going to help you really reach those higher notes. Very, very good performance. I see lots of comments coming in. Okay. This is from Amar. Amar. Okay. I really like seeing examples where the person looks loose. Amar, you're loose. You are smiling. You are having a good time making this submission, doing this guitar cover. This foundation of being able to smile, being able to engage rhythmically with your guitar, and sort of have this carefree mindset is an absolute, I would say, probably the most important requirement for progressing with your voice. So excellent job there. The other thing that I will say, and I'll say this is a general thing, but I notice room for progression here. And I'm gonna pick up my guitar. And I'm not going to try to sing the exact song, but I'm going to do something similar. When I went downstairs, I instantly got cold. When I went downstairs, I started feeling old. That is the song I just made up right now. But I'm going to use this as an illustration. We often think that we're just kind of getting through a song, or that we're playing a song from start to finish. We have lots of opportunity to be really, really engaging and dynamic. And the best singers are the ones who can take you on little journeys with each line. Okay? I could sing it like this. When I went downstairs, I started feeling cold. When I went downstairs, I knew I was getting old. Or I could do it like this. Same rhythm. When I went downstairs, I started feeling old. When I went downstairs, I knew I was getting old. When I went downstairs, I started feeling old. When I went downstairs, I knew I was getting old. Oh, not everything's gonna sound good. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, what am I illustrating? I am illustrating an attentiveness to dynamics. Sometimes we have to go beyond what we would think is normal dynamically to deliver dynamically and be fluid enough to be emotionally connected and truly emote through our performance. And that is the bit of feedback that I would give here. Fantastic start. Be more, dial up the contrast. Even in a melody like this that doesn't travel many places, dial up the dynamic differences in the contrast. That's going to be a wonderful next step for you as a vocalist. Okay, and that wraps up the 5. I may have actually done an extra one. The 5 submissions for vocal feedback this week on Feedback Friday. I want to say again, if you're interested in working more closely with me and supporting me in what I do on YouTube and providing lessons, go here. Request an invite to the course. I'd love to work with you on a deeper level. You're so welcome. Now, we're going to do this next week as well. It's going to be the same format. just to kind of, for those of you who started late, I want to go through how this works. And again, this is all fluid because I'm still figuring out how this works. This is only the second event I've done. But here's how it's going to work. I'm going to go live with a countdown about 5 minutes before the hour, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. The next event will be scheduled shortly after this one. And during that 5-minute window, I'm going to post an email address in the chat. The first 5 people to reply to that email address with their 40-second video submission will get reviewed for the session. So that's how it's going to work, at least for now. If it changes, I'll be sure to let you know on the before and after I start reviewing the submissions. Please be extra courteous to everybody else. And if you, as we keep going, once you get a submission or once you get reviewed, let other people go through. So don't submit a link every week unless you show up after the 5, right? So if you're submitting a link and you're always late, that's totally fine to submit again and maybe get in the top 5. That's great. But if you've already been reviewed, leave it open for other people. And Gil says, I wish we could submit another link to show you improvement. Yeah, I'd be open to that. I'd be open to that in a little bit, as long as we're not getting, I think what I'm trying to avoid is getting the same 5 people every week because they're fast on the trigger, submitting their emails. I'd like to review as many people and give as many people help as possible. But if we're weeks later, I think that'd probably be fine. And I think a lot of it also depends on, how many submissions we continue to get, right? Each week so far this week, or so far for these sessions, it's been like 40 emails. I get the first 5 and then there's 35 more and I'm only addressing those people. But if that starts shrinking, then it could be like, okay, well, we actually didn't get enough submissions this morning. Anybody? I'll wait around a little bit and when we can get some repeat submissions, we'll check in on your progress. And that could be really awesome too. So, excellent. Again, if you'd like to work more closely with me, if you'd like to support me in a greater level in what I'm doing on YouTube and with my courses, go here. Request an invite to my course. I keep enrollment closed on a general basis because I only let certain class sizes into the course so that I can be available to walk through the material with my students. If it was just open all the time, I wouldn't really have the ability to be as personally attentive as I'd like to be. Ultimately, the goal is to help people learn how to sing. And I find that this method is the way that I can do that best. Also, if you'd like to check out the other courses that I offer, you can head to mymusicalvoice.com. And I have other courses that are not open and closed for enrollment. They're not the full 12-week journey, but you can get a sense for other directions that I can help you take your voice. I'm just going to look through chat here for just a second. People with fast internet will always win, maybe. This is great, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for your submissions. Thank you for being attentive and listening and watching and being encouraging to the other people who are submitting. And oh, hold on. The link doesn't... This link? There's that, or there's this link. All right. So, as I was saying, thank you so much for being attentive and watching and being encouraging to the other people who submit. Even if you are not the one, it'd be a real bummer if we only had like 5 people on here and they were the only ones interested in getting their stuff reviewed. But the fact that you guys are hanging out and being encouraging is so cool. It's doing exactly what I'd love to continue to do on this channel, which is foster a community of singers. So, all right. We will see you on YouTube for more videos, and we will see you next Friday for the 3rd Feedback Friday.